Autoline Daily is brought to you by Borg Warner, feel good about driving. Bridgestone, your journey, our passion. And by Dow Automotive Systems, improving durability and increasing design flexibility with Betamate structural adhesives at dowbetamate.com.
Hello and welcome to Autoline Daily as we strive to keep you up to speed on the latest developments in the global automotive industry. As you know, all week long we have been webcasting live from the Detroit Auto Show. We're posting those shows on our website and on our YouTube channel so you can watch them at your convenience. There's a lot of great information there. For example, on Tuesday, Jose Munoz, the chairman of Nissan's North American region, announced that the company very much wants to produce the concept car called the IDX Free Flow. With styling reminiscent of the Datsun 510 from the mid-1970s, the car has a very simple grace to it, very unlike the swoopy, busy designs of Nissan's mass production cars. Munoz told Autoline that the IDX Free Flow would be built on the Nissan Rogue platform and that he wants to build it at the company's plant in Smyrna, Tennessee. Production of the Rogue was recently moved from Japan to the U.S. And at yesterday's Autoline Supplier Symposium, lightweighting was a major topic. We've been bombarded with news of how automakers are taking the weight out of their vehicles, most notably Ford talking about taking over 700 pounds out of the new F-150. But at the Supplier Symposium, we learned the role that suppliers are playing because the car companies are not achieving all of this on their own. For example, Linda Hassenfranz, the CEO of Linamar, talked about how they have cut the weight of camshafts anywhere from 60 to 70%. And with some engines having 4 camshafts, that can chop down the weight of an engine significantly. Instead of machining the cam from a single casting, they take a hollow steel tube and sinter on the cam lobes. This is not brand new technology, but with automakers now having to explore every possibility to cut weight, this technology is now finding its way into mass market vehicles. At the end of today's report, I'll let you know who we're going to have on today's Supplier Symposium. As you know, Chrysler ran into a bunch of powertrain problems with the Jeep Cherokee last year. The launch was delayed for months. Well, the company announced yesterday that the executive who was in charge of transmission, powertrain, and driveline engineering has been fired. The official description is that he left to pursue other opportunities. Mircea Gradu is the name of the exec who was in charge of that operation, and he's been replaced on a temporary basis by Bob Lee, who's in charge of all engine and powertrain operations at Chrysler. As part of the bailout agreement with the U.S. government, the UAW agreed not to hold any strikes at General Motors or Chrysler until at least the end of 2014. And now it looks like the union is getting ready for that agreement to expire. UAW President Bob King is asking members to approve a dues hike of 25% to help replenish its strike fund. He also wants members to change the name of that fund to the Strike and Defense Fund. That would give the union more flexibility in how it can spend that money, like helping to organize the workers at Volkswagen's plant in Chattanooga, Tennessee. VW workers could vote for union representation at that plant before June. Right now, workers kick in 2 hours of wages to the strike fund every month. King wants to raise that to 2.5 hours. We'll see where this ends up, but early indications are members are none too happy about seeing their dues go up. Well, here's some good news for GM, Ford, and Chrysler. A new study from J.D. Power found that new car buyers cite technology as a reason for purchasing a domestic vehicle more often than purchasing an import. 38% of domestic consumers say the latest technology features are a reason for their purchase, compared with 33% of import buyers. The report also says that consumers who previously owned an import are 40% more likely to buy a domestic car due to that technology. But overall, consumers still cite gas mileage as the most influential decision in their purchase. Oh, programming note here. Due to all this webcasting that we've been doing all week long, we will not be doing an Autoline After Hours tonight. We'll do it again next week. And coming up next, I want to tell you about the great guests I'll have on the Autoline Supplier Symposium later this afternoon.
Dow Automotive Systems, driving solutions in automotive, commercial transportation, and aftermarket with innovative products like Betamate structural adhesives. Lighter, stronger, safer. DowBetamate.com.
Boy, have we got a great lineup of speakers coming up on today's Autoline Supplier Symposium. First, I'll be talking with Jim Buskowski, who's the Director of Electrical and Electronic Systems for Ford Motor Company's purchasing. If you need to learn about what kinds of electronic systems Ford is searching for, here's your chance to hear it firsthand. Next, we'll have a panel discussion organized by the OESA, the organization that represents automotive suppliers. The topic for this discussion is the need for collaboration up and down the entire supply chain. And we're going to especially dive into the relationship between automakers and their suppliers. Is that relationship going backwards? Suppliers say some automakers seem to be regaining their arrogance. You're going to want to hear what they have to say about that. We're also going to have a panel discussion with Chinese executives of supplier companies based in the United States. If the Chinese market is so big and growing so fast, why are these Chinese companies so interested in setting up base in North America? We'll want to get to the bottom of that. And finally, the Center for Automotive Research has organized a panel that will take a deep dive into lightweighting, looking at the new materials and new processes that automakers and suppliers will have to get into as they try every trick in the book to meet those stringent CAFE standards. All that's coming up later today at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, right here at Autoline.tv, WardsAuto.com, WXYZ.com, and of course, on our YouTube channel. Just look for the Autoline Network. Hey, and if you're going to be down at the show, come on over. Look for us at the Ford display because Ford is our signature sponsor for this event. We got a great setup there. Anyway, that wraps up this report. Thank you for watching.